Save the Semantics, episode 203. It is March 19th, 2023. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I ramble on for a bit about some shit. It's been a few weeks or a couple weeks since I last recorded, so I thought it might be best to kind of catch up on a few things. Really not much. not big news per se, but just a few things that have been kind of going on in the world. Some things in my life, I guess, a couple of tidbits here and there, but yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm kind of like low energy today. I feel like I just haven't really. It's one of those periods where I feel like I haven't really slept that well. It's a combination of that and just feeling just kind of weird, like fatigue, I guess, mental fatigue. Even though I haven't really, like, work's been okay. Like, I haven't really been super stressed out in regards to work, but I don't know. I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. And so I just have sort of this weird brain fog thing going on right now where I'm just really tired. Part of me wants to sleep all day, but then I'm just wasting a whole day. So I don't want to do that. And then another part of me just wants to, like, I don't know, just like take a whole fucking week off or whatever, So that's kind of where my headspace is at. So yeah, a bit low energy. But I did want to put something out today, or at least something this week at least, since it's been a little while. It's been a rough. It hasn't been good for as a Warriors fan. It's been a pretty kind of rough stretch. So they had a 5-game homestand, and they held their own there. They beat the Bucks. They went undefeated in that 5-game stretch. But on the road, it's a whole different thing. It's been a nightmare this entire season. It's been incredibly frustrating and just kind of puzzling as to why they've been so just shitty on the road. Yeah, people are just like talking about it's been kind of a pretty common talking point for a lot of sports analysis and sports, I guess, like basketball commentators and that sort of thing. But it's just been so fucking frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. It's been hard to kind of enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like, coming off the heels of a championship. I know that they've had, some pretty kind of a shakeup in their roster. They lost a lot of their key players from the run last year. But like, the core is still there, yet they're just performing terribly. And it's just frustrating. The last game against Memphis, I just kind of knew going into it that they were gonna lose. You know what I mean? I was like, we're not gonna win this shit. Memphis, they're gonna be playing with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, they play with a chip on their shoulder every game, pretty much, right? But especially against the Warriors, which makes sense. So it's like, I just did not feel confident at all playing against them, really. I was just like, we don't really, I just didn't feel like we stand a chance. They have size on us, size that we don't have, and we will continue to lack, because there were like no movements during the trade deadline. We didn't make any like acquisitions or anything, really. I mean, we did. We got Gary Payton. I take it back. We got Gary Payton back, but he's injured. He's also a guard. And I kind of touched upon that a little while back. But we just have, and this is kind of starting to bite us in the ass. Last year, we made it work, and we won a ring. But this year, just the lack of size that sort of continued from last year's roster, like that shit just doesn't like it just does not bode well for us. We're getting just hammered on the inside. We somehow held out on our own against Milwaukee, but that's because like we kind of got lucky. And also Curry was going crazy. Like he had to play out of his mind in the last, in the fourth quarter and in overtime. But we just can't rely on that to get us out of these games. He scored 50 against the Clippers the other night. And that we still lost that game. Like it was just not it was not pretty at all. So I don't know. It's been kind of messy. I feel like this season's kind of botched already. I mean, of course we still have a chance. There's still 10 games left, but it just feels like a bit of a wash. We're at 500 right now. We're like what 41-41 or something like that. It just doesn't look and feel great right now. And there's not enough time to get our shit together. One, because we don't have the roster to do it. And then two, I just don't have a lot of confidence in this team and in this roster, really. It's just not, there's just not enough time. Like if we somehow got a fourth or a third seed, I just like that seems a bit, it feels kind of out of reach considering how the other teams are sort of performing, and I could see the other teams, you know, slowly trending upward. Maybe I'm being a bit pessimistic, but like I mean there hasn't been anything like, other than their performance at home, there really hasn't been anything that has shown to me this year that they can really do a lot in the postseason. But maybe I will be proven wrong. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have my expectations to pretty much just the like bottom tier like expectations of this team for the rest of the season. I just don't really see them doing much, and if they exceed, you know, if they're somehow able to kind of get past like the first round or whatever, even get into the playoffs, and I'll be like, okay, whatever, we'll see how this goes. But beyond that, I just don't see it, man. Playoffs are not guaranteed this year. They're really not. There are like so many teams that are at that 500 range. It's just gonna be like I said, it is gonna be a fight to the finish. It's gonna be tough. So I'm just really just gonna keep my expectations at a minimum at this point. Like I just don't really want to put too much investment into it. Considering they just haven't shown at all that they can win on the road. So that's kind of where my headspace is at. That being said, I am gonna go watch them in a home game next Sunday. So I am looking forward to that. It'll be my first time seeing them at the Chase Center. It'll be the first time seeing them since, I don't even fucking remember, like 10 years ago probably at this point. Yeah, it's been a long ass time since I've seen them, seen a live game. So I'm excited, you know what I mean? They're playing the Timberwolves. I'm assuming that Ant's probably gonna be out, so that's gonna give us a bit more of a chance, but I'm not gonna write off the Timberwolves. They still have a solid team, you know what I mean? They're right there with us. So again, I'll be excited to see them though. Among other things, I've just been kind of continuing to play Breath of the Wild. My sort of approach with this playthrough is, initially I was like kind of giving myself a bit of like a challenge, and I guess I still have those sort of stipulations where I'm not like I'm not going for, you know, the best. I'm not trying to upgrade everything, you know what I mean? But I do have I'm sort of adjusted kind of that approach to where I am trying to revisit and re-experience the story, and kind of picking up on, doing like the ancient beasts, and trying to collect every memory, just so I can kind of re-experience the game again, and get a little bit more, get a bit more context, and I guess lore and stuff like that going forward. I mean, Zelda lore is not really that like deep in my opinion. It's cool, but it's not, the focal point. The story is not really the focus for me, at least. I mean, sometimes it can be. It's part of it, but it's not. The narrative is not why I'm really drawn to the Zelda games, right? It's the sense of adventure and everything like that. But I do want to give myself a bit more, kind of refresh my memory on some of the backgrounds of the world and shit like that, before going into Tears of the Kingdom, which is coming up in a couple months. So that's exciting. I'll most likely complete this game. Like, I mean, I'm going to be continuing to play it even after I beat the main like quest, main story. I feel like I will. But I do want to kind of try to experience like the main plot points of the game before going and completing the the main objective, just so I can get kind of a full quote unquote full experience of the game itself. I've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun re-exploring the world, and I'd forgotten kind of I mean, there was some of the shrines that I have done. I'm like, okay, I kind of remember what to do exactly, but some of them I've been kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta actually think about what I'm doing here, and not refer to my memory, because my memory is not super great. But actually try to figure out the best way to approach these puzzles, and kind of figure it out in the most like efficient way, or whatever the fuck. But yeah, that's been fun. I've sort of been thinking, and again, I've sort of put Final Fantasy VII on the back burner because I've been playing through Breath of the Wild, but I think I do want to beat it, because I'm literally at the last dungeon, last boss area, from what I can tell. So I really just need to like spend, I don't know, one day just beating it, but I just have sort of put that off. So that's again another game that I have sort of on my back burner, that I do want to get to. But other things have come ahead in terms of my priority and things that I've wanted to do. So shit like that happens. There are so many games that I want to play and that I want to beat. Octopath Traveler 2 came out, and that's another game series that I've sort of kind of wanted to play for a little bit. Like, it's not a priority for me, but it is something that I'm like, seems kind of interesting, you know what I mean? And I have Octopath 1. I just haven't really gone around to it, and again, it's not something that it's not on the top of my list of games that I really want to play at the moment, but it is something that, if I run out of shit, which is not going to be anytime soon, it's something that I'll get to in the future. But I've heard Octopath 2 improves a lot in like the narrative and kind of the intersecting storylines and that sort of thing. I know that's like pretty common critique of the first game. I haven't played it, but that's just a lot of just kind of the common criticisms that I've heard. And it seems like they've improved that. It's also been, actually I was gonna say it's been a little while since I've really played with turn-based combat that has been as, I guess, expanded on outside of like I mean, Final Fantasy, it's pretty, pretty straightforward in terms of like the turn-based combat, in my opinion. Um, and then Persona 5, I have played, but Persona 5 is pretty streamlined. It's really just kind of like, it's really like quick. The combat's like really quick, in my opinion, and it's really snappy. Um, and it makes it a lot of fun. I think it's been a little bit, and I think that, Octopath lies much more on kind of the traditional turn-based combat. It's got random encounters. It's heavily heavily lean or heavily like kind of closely resembling, more classical JRPGs. Of course, with like the pixel graphics and all that shit. So I feel like it's been a little bit for me since I've really played an RPG JRPG with the style of like Octopath, kind of in the style of like a traditional um, Final Fantasy game, I guess you could say. So I do want to pick that up. I do want to maybe take a look and see how that looks. Again, Live Alive, that's another one that I've wanted to play for a while. I picked up the demo, or I've downloaded it at least, but I haven't touched it just because I was like, ooh, this seems, I've heard good things about it. The music seems really cool. The art style is beautiful. And so again, this is just another one that I've had on kind of my list. That I'll just probably continue to have on my list for a little while. Ooh, slowly kind of I guess shifting away from games. Just a slight shift. I might go back to it. But the Oscars happened last Sunday. Um Really, I didn't watch it, but I know of the results, but really happy about Everything Everywhere all at once. Getting Best Picture, um, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor. Incredible stuff, man. I'm really happy. I think they got more. They got more awards than that too, but really happy with that. I do want to revisit that movie sometime. Watching it in theaters was a really great experience, and I thought it was a really great and wonderful, fun movie. Someone said, I saw some comment in like the Reddit. That's like a Reddit thread of like the Oscar winners and shit like that, and I feel like I can kind of agree, where this is like the coolest Oscar movie winner since like There Will Be Blood, or I think it's like No Country for Old Men. It's just a really, it is a cool movie, just stylistically and just kind of the conceptually. It is a cool movie. No disrespect to on any of the other ones, where it's dealing with much more, um, dealing with things much more dramatically, like very careful, like uh, character pieces and that, or character and period pieces and whatnot. Like no disrespect to those, but I think it is cool. It does have kind of that factor going for it. So I'm very happy that it's gotten its accolades. Um, I have seen some commentary regarding how, because um, how much praise it's gotten recently, that there's gonna be this inevitable kind of backlash towards it, where it's like, actually this movie is kind of mid, or below average or whatever. I think that just kind of happens with everything, that becomes that starts out relatively relatively niche, or somewhat uh somewhat unnoticed, or not as not as in the public conscience, but now that it is, it's sort of, there kind of is like a shift in I guess discourse about that. I guess you could kind of make the same argument with something like Parasite. uh Although I don't know, I think I saw Parasite after, or was it before? Maybe, I think it was it before it won the Oscar, or after it won the Oscar. I don't remember, but yeah, I don't know. I think this just kind of comes in with like any movie or whatever. That's not something that's along the lines of a popular franchise, but it's kind of its own individual thing. It becomes popular, and then there's like kind of this pushback from, I guess, quote unquote critics or whatever, who don't feel that the movie lives up to the hype, I guess. But this movie does. I really think that Everything Everywhere is worthy of its praise and everything like that. I think it's an excellent movie. I also saw, and this was I was happy about this, but RRR got best song or best music. I think it was best song performance, whatever. For Natu, which is within the context of the movie, is like a really it's a great moment in the movie. I also saw the performance that they did on the Oscars, and I thought that was really great. It was a great live performance. I feel like they nailed that shit. I think it's dope. I think that's super cool. I mean, considering that I just watched the movie pretty recently, and they're like, oh shit, they won the Oscar for that, which I feel is well deserved. It's just a really fun musical number, I guess you could say. The dancing is just, it's so energetic. There's just so much. I don't know. It just gives a lot. It gives a lot of just. I don't know. It gives a lot of energy in comparison to some of the other like typical Oscar performances where it's like just individual singer. Again, no disrespect, but it's nice to kind of see that type of performance on that type of stage. It's good to see that kind of thing. Anyways, I've been pretty scatterbrained today, but I wanted to record something. It's been a little while. I wanted to talk about basketball, my frustrations with the Warriors, some of the things that's been kind of interesting me lately. But yeah, bit of a scattershot episode. Next time, whenever that will be, I'll probably be a bit more focused. I think as we approach the NBA playoffs, there's going to be a lot more to kind of discuss in regards to like matchups. There's going to be a lot more of the seeding that's going to be solidified. So there's a lot that's going to be that we can talk about there. Also, March Madness has started up recently. I haven't been super engaged with college basketball for a long time, really. I haven't really just paid that much attention to it, but I think this year there's been a ton of really huge upsets already. So this could be exciting. And maybe I'll have something to talk about there maybe next week or in a couple of weeks. So I'll note that down. And then I'll also maybe touch upon going to the Warriors game next Sunday. So I'll have some more things to discuss the next time around and provide a bit more focus in that regard. So anyways, I appreciate you for listening today. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.